The anime opens with the birth of a child, whose very first sight is his mother smiling down at him with overwhelming joy. What no one in the room realizes, especially the ecstatic parents, is that this newborn is no ordinary baby. He is a reincarnated soul, fully aware that he has lived an entire previous life and remembers every inconvenient detail of it. Inside his tiny body resides the mind of a grown adult. He thinks clearly, reasons logically, and immediately understands the situation. Unfortunately, he is still stuck in the body of an infant, which means no speaking, no walking, and no dramatic monologues about existential rebirth just yet. To add insult to injury, a status screen appears before him. A quick glance confirms his expectations. Every stat sits firmly at the bottom. Apparently, reincarnation does not come with a starter pack. Moments later, the king of the Mirror Empire enters, and the child nearly panics upon realizing that he has been reborn into royalty. The king names the newborn Noah, unknowingly assigning him a lifetime of responsibility before he can even lift his own head. Soon after, a loyal servant reports that Noah possesses an unusually strong affinity for water magic. Without hesitation, the king appoints him as the future head of Almeria, a district renowned for its abundant water resources and water magic users. This decision occurs while Noah is still young enough to consider blinking a major achievement. The king then orders Noah's stats to be displayed publicly throughout the palace. As expected, most of the values remain at the lowest tier, earning nods of approval from the onlookers. Then the water magic stat appears. At merely 1 minute old, Noah's rank already reaches SS. The room freezes, jaws drop, and common sense briefly evacuates the palace. Meanwhile, Noah checks his own stats and notices something completely different. The numbers do not match what everyone else sees, leaving him confused while the rest of the palace celebrates, and his father proudly lifts him higher, blissfully unaware of the complications ahead. 6 years pass, and Noah grows into a small boy. Despite his appearance, his maturity far exceeds his age, backed by memories from his previous life. The palace staff adore him, impressed by his intelligence and impeccable manners. One morning, as he eats breakfast with the grace of a seasoned noble, a maid informs him of the crown prince's arrival. The visitor is Albert Arart, a man widely regarded as a force to be reckoned with. Recognizing the significance of the visit, Noah ends his meal early and goes to greet him. The crown prince arrives alongside the fourth prince, and both immediately take note of Noah's flawless etiquette. They openly remark that he shows the makings of a future chancellor, a compliment Noah accepts calmly, while mentally noting that he still needs help reaching high shelves. Skipping unnecessary pleasantries, the crown prince presents his reason for visiting: a gift. A servant enters carrying a coffin-like container, his expression strained from both its weight and the oppressive energy it emits. The object radiates hostility, as though it actively resents being carried by someone weaker than itself. When the container opens, a sword is revealed, one that looks disturbingly pleased with the idea of consuming lives. The crown prince orders Noah to wield the blade. Though phrased politely, the command leaves no room for refusal. Noah senses the sword's bloodlust immediately, but steps forward regardless. His resolve wavers when he grips the hilt, yet he forces himself to lift it. His form is far from perfect, but he manages to wield the heavy weapon long enough to demonstrate control. Only then does the crown prince reveal the truth. The sword is cursed and has executed most of its previous wielders after deeming them unworthy. The fact that it spares Noah leads to a simple conclusion. His SS rank stat protects him. The weapon is called Leviathan, a sword infused with devastating water-based power capable of making the world tremble. After delivering this cheerful revelation, the crown prince and the fourth prince depart, leaving Noah alone with the unsettling realization that his elder brother knowingly allowed him to handle something that could have killed him instantly. Assessing his position carefully, Noah swallows his resentment and continues his day. Picking fights with powerful siblings rarely ends well. Later that day, one of Noah's maids requests leave. He immediately notices a tremor in her voice and asks what troubles her. She explains that a severe flood has destroyed her homeland, leaving her mother homeless. Out of desperation, she considers working in the red light district to earn money for her mother's survival. Noah rejects the idea without hesitation, and instead offers both the maid, Zoe, and her mother a home within the palace. He even arranges a new job for Zoe's mother. Learning of the flood's aftermath, Noah orders the purchase of all affected land to prevent bandits and exploitation. When a servant questions the funding, Noah calmly explains that he plans to sell the land gifted him by his father to cover the cost. The following day, Noah travels to the region. The fourth prince warns him against using Leviathan, explaining that survival does not equal permission. The sword may tolerate him, but misuse could bring severe consequences. Upon arrival, Noah discovers that the locals receive barely edible food. Those in charge secretly skim ingredients for profit, turning relief efforts into a personal business. Noah's sense of justice ignites, and for the first time, rage overtakes him. He confronts the man responsible, who, unaware that the child before him is a prince, responds with arrogance. That ignorance seals his fate. Noah summons Leviathan and demands its power. The sword resists at first, but it senses unwavering resolve and submits. In a single decisive strike, Noah decapitates the corrupt official, sending terror through soldiers and peasants alike. Realization spreads quickly. They stand before royalty. Everyone kneels. Far away, news of Noah wielding the cursed sword reaches the crown prince. Instead of concern, amusement fills him. He laughs loudly, realizing that his younger brother may be far more useful and far more dangerous than he initially assumed. The second episode opens with a narrator introducing the capital city of the Mirror Empire. Beyond serving as the political heart of the empire, the city also functions as its financial nucleus. Over time, it has grown into the most prosperous city in the world, one that now falls directly under the jurisdiction of a young prince, Noah. By this point, Zoe has taken on additional responsibilities under Noah's command and is almost always by his side during his daily routine. Her diligence makes her invaluable to him, while the steady work allows her to support herself comfortably. On this particular day, the two head together to a grand hall to attend a performance they have been anticipating. The event is a singing performance by a young woman named Aleki. From the moment she begins to sing, Noah finds himself completely captivated. His jaw visibly drops as her voice fills the hall. While he can recognize that her technique still leaves room for refinement, having heard far more polished singers before, he can tell that Aleki sings from genuine passion rather than mere necessity. That sincerity alone sets her apart. Just as Noah and Zoe are enjoying the performance, three men abruptly barge into the hall without tickets, shattering the atmosphere. Without a hint of shame, they storm the stage and declare that Aleki will never be able to repay her parents' debt through singing alone. They crudely insist that she abandon her passion and sell her body instead. The words immediately sour Noah's mood. Not only are they cruel, but they also interrupt his moment of peace. He steps down toward the stage and calmly announces that demanding repayment of a parent's debt from their child is illegal under imperial law. The men, unaware of his identity, respond with arrogance, mocking him and telling him to run back to his mother. Noah feels no need to announce his status. Instead, he draws his cursed sword and incapacitates all three men in an instant, carefully ensuring they survive. Terrified both physically and emotionally, the men scramble out of the hall, shouting desperate threats that they will return. After restoring order, Noah approaches Aleki and offers to sponsor her singing career with a payment of 25 reins. The offer overwhelms her with joy. He then politely asks her to finish the song, explaining that he would like to hear how it ends. By sunset, Noah returns to his palace, only to find the same three men kneeling at the front gates. A servant explains that they have come to apologize. Noah immediately realizes they must have learned his identity. While he has no intention of punishing them further, he refuses to grant them an audience, stating that a prince cannot be met at will by commoners. Prince Henry, the fourth prince, overhears his decision and praises Noah's judgment, noting that granting such informal meetings would only diminish his authority. The two move somewhere private, where Noah explains that his refusal was deliberate. By leaving the men fearful rather than furious, they would be less likely to harass Aleki again. Prince Henry is stunned by Noah's insight, remarking that no one their age could think so strategically. He compares Noah to his peers, Frank and Gary, who are the same age but far less capable. Noah privately reflects that Frank and Gary are his half-brothers, born of a different mother. Shifting the conversation, Prince Henry admits that what impresses him most is Noah's mastery over the cursed blade Leviathan. Once a national treasure that no one could wield, it now obeys Noah completely. When Noah casually summons Leviathan out of thin air, Henry momentarily loses his composure. Noah explains that the sword can shrink itself and be hidden within a sleeve, one of its many functions. Prince Henry is left in genuine awe, convinced that Noah is truly exceptional. Together, they head toward a royal gathering. Along the way, they encounter the same men from the concert once more, bowing repeatedly in hopes of forgiveness. When one of them loses his temper, Noah suppresses him instantly using Leviathan's power, explaining to Henry that even small portions of the sword's strength allow him to do such things. At the party, Noah's entrance draws immediate attention. Despite his young age, his elegance and composure astonish the assembled nobles. This time, instead of concealing Leviathan, he openly wears it. When questioned, Noah announces the sword's name and reveals that it was a gift from the crown prince himself. The revelation excites the room, until one noble scoffs, claiming the blade must be a replica. Before Noah can respond, Leviathan erupts in fury, releasing a dark aura that grips everyone present by the throat. Panic spreads instantly. Noah calmly suppresses the sword and orders it to stand down, having sensed that it was enraged on his behalf. Rather than fear, the nobles are left even more impressed by how completely Noah has tamed the cursed weapon. Having proven his point, Noah spares the insulting noble without further incident. As introductions continue, one guest captures Noah's attention: Byron Allen and his daughter, Cindy. After only a brief exchange, Noah deduces that Cindy is not Byron's biological daughter, but a former slave. Rather than thinking less of Byron, Noah is impressed by her compassion in taking her in. Byron soon excuses himself, likely to avoid attracting jealousy from others for holding the prince's attention too long. As Byron departs, Noah senses something unusual about Cindy. Despite her timid demeanor, she displays a strange protectiveness toward Byron. When Noah releases a trace of Leviathan's power, her instincts sharpen rather than collapse into fear. The detail intrigues him, though he decides to investigate later. The following day, Noah strolls through the city when Prince Oliver encounters him in a carriage and invites him on a treasure hunt. They visit Cobalt Street, a place known for rare artifacts, many genuine, many counterfeit. During their search, Noah encounters a book possessed by the vengeful spirit of a wind sorcerer. He destroys the spirit with ease, greatly impressing Prince Oliver. A nearby merchant witnesses the feat and invites them inside, presenting a peculiar artifact that always returns to him no matter how often he discards it. Noah places it on his finger and discovers it can transform into armor. He decides to purchase it, but Prince Oliver insists on paying, offering it as a gift. The episode concludes with Noah returning to Aleki's, singing Hull once more. When her performance is interrupted again by a disruptive guest, Noah intervenes. The owner apologizes, claiming such customers keep the business alive. In response, Noah calmly resolved the issue by buying the establishment outright. The third episode opened with Noah being meticulously prepared for the day by his attendants. Each maiden carried out her duties with unwavering professionalism, treating him not as a child, but as a prince in his own right, despite the fact that he was only 6 years old. Once he was ready, Noah was informed of an early morning visitor, Dead Marley, the Governor General of Holdjoy. Noah immediately understood that the visit concerned a serious official matter. Holdjoy was not under his direct jurisdiction, yet Marley's presence made sense. The Governor General had been born in Almeria, a fief governed by Noah himself. When all other avenues failed, it was only natural for Marley to seek the young prince's aid as a last resort. Noah wasted no time on formalities and instructed him to speak plainly. Marley explained that Holdjoy was a fertile region surrounded by major rivers, but frequently suffered from devastating floods. Managing such disasters was precisely why an official from Almeria, home to the Empire's water clan, had been appointed to govern the region. While Marley possessed the skills to mitigate the flooding, he admitted that his efforts had reached a standstill. Without financial backing, even his expertise was useless. Noah immediately objected, stating that the imperial crown had already ordered funds to be released. Marley clarified that the Home Ministry had been withholding the money. Upon hearing this, Noah acted without hesitation and went straight to confront the Minister of Finance, Maverick. Maverick, a man notorious for corruption, was more concerned with his lavish meals than the suffering of the people. Still, he remained outwardly composed, convinced he could deceive the young prince. He assumed Noah's age would work in his favor. When questioned about the missing funds, Maverick claimed that taxes had been forgiven after the previous flood, and that the people should now use that money to survive the current crisis. Noah immediately dismantled the excuse. He argued that taxes had not been forgiven at all, because the people had earned no profit after the last flood. Legally, the tax amount had simply been zero. Maverick was visibly shaken. He had expected the prince to accept the lie without question. In a final, desperate attempt, he claimed the funds were being reserved for the construction of a private villa for the king. Seeing through the deception, Noah prepared to charge Maverick with treason against the crown. Panic overtook the minister. He collapsed to his knees, begged for forgiveness, and immediately issued orders for funds to be released to Holdjoy. Shortly after Noah returned to the capital, a messenger informed him that the king had summoned him. Since the request came directly from a monarch, Noah presented himself without delay. The king began by praising Noah's decisive actions in Holdjoy, though what surprised Noah most was that the king already knew every detail. This led Noah to wonder just how far the king's intelligence network extended. The king explained that information was power, and that he kept watch over every corner of the empire. Any significant change reached him far sooner than most realized. He then shifted the conversation to Noah's mastery of the Leviathan sword, noting how remarkable it was given the weapon's violent history. The king introduced Noah to Damian Noble, widely regarded as the strongest swordsman in the empire, and appointed him as Noah's instructor. Damian requested permission to spar with the prince in order to gauge his abilities. The king granted his request. To Damian's shock, the duel ended almost instantly. Noah defeated him with ease, as the Leviathan sword transferred the accumulated techniques of its former wielders directly to him. Admitting defeat, Damian reported that while Noah's physical strength and speed were those of a child, his technique rivaled that of a veteran knight. He concluded that he had nothing left to teach the prince. Impressed, the king appointed Noah as the chief judge of the Empire's annual knight selection examination. The event allowed any swordsman from any region to compete, and was one of the Empire's most celebrated traditions. Victors were granted knighthood and promoted rapidly within the military due to their proven skill. Noah's first decree was that the regional preliminary rounds would also be held in the capital, under his direct supervision. He did not trust regional judges, believing their decisions could be arbitrary or biased. He feared that a truly talented individual might be eliminated before ever reaching him, and he refused to allow such waste. Later, while speaking with Zoe in his mansion, she mentioned that a knight from her village also wished to compete. However, traveling to the capital every year was prohibitively expensive. This revelation made Noah realize that many capable candidates were being excluded simply due to financial hardship. Determined to remove this barrier, Noah summoned his servant Dylan and ordered that all competitors, regardless of origin, would have their travel, lodging, and basic expenses covered by the crown. He then contacted Byron, a merchant he had previously met, and hired him to provide food for all participants upon their arrival in the capital. When Noah reviewed the expenses, he noticed that Byron was charging far less than expected and confronted him about it. Byron admitted that the reduced cost was a gesture of gratitude toward the 13th prince. Noah rejected the explanation, stating that merchants never acted without motive, and demanded the truth. Byron confessed that a separate examination was being held to recruit palace staff, and he wished for one of his girls to secure a position. Noah immediately understood the implication. Having someone inside the palace would grant Byron early access to sensitive information, which could be leveraged for profit. Noah stated that he had no objection and promised to put in a favorable word with the judges. Overwhelmed with gratitude and impressed by Noah's insight, Byron knelt and pledged his loyalty, requesting permission to operate his business under Noah's crest. Noah agreed, but made it clear that betrayal would not be tolerated under any circumstances. Later that day, while returning to the palace in his carriage, Noah sat in silence, intently reviewing his status window. He reflected on how one of his attributes had increased after recruiting Byron, only to be jolted moments later by an unexpected change. To his shock, one of his stats had decreased. After a brief but careful analysis, Noah concluded that the cause could only be trouble in Almeria, the city under his direct governance, and the very reason he had been awarded his first S rank in the first place. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Noah immediately instructed Zoe to have the driver change course and head straight for the king's palace. He believed the matter could not afford even a moment's delay. Upon meeting the king, Noah reported that something was seriously amiss in Almeria. His concern was quickly validated when one of the king's advisors confirmed that a small-scale rebellion had broken out in the region. The king then asked whether Noah intended to suppress the rebellion himself. Noah declined, explaining that he lacked real battlefield experience. Even if he were to emerge victorious, he feared that unnecessary casualties would be inevitable. Instead, he requested that one of his elder brothers lead the campaign, assuring the king that he would provide support in any way possible. Noah specifically recommended his brother Henry, believing him to be the most suitable for the task. The king agreed and ordered that Henry be summoned at once. Later, as Noah and Henry traveled together toward the affected region, their convoy was ambushed by rebels wielding water magic. Leviathan detected the enemy's presence first, allowing Noah to react without hesitation. He swiftly subdued the attackers, ensuring they were incapacitated but left alive for interrogation. From them, Noah learned that the core of the rebellion consisted of a large contingent of cavalry. Noah immediately recognized a strategic weakness in this revelation. Almeria possessed very few war horses, and supplies of horse feed were already limited. With this advantage in mind, he acted the very next day. Noah ordered Byron to purchase every available supply of horse feed throughout Almeria. Such a move would inevitably incite panic among the rebels, as their cavalry would soon find itself unable to sustain its mounts. With citizens owning few horses of their own, the rebels would have no viable means to replenish their dwindling resources. The 5th episode opens with Noah kneeling before the king near a fountain within the palace grounds. The king informs him that the captured prisoners have finally revealed the truth. According to their confession, they had been sent specifically to target Noah and intended to use him as a bargaining chip. The king remarks that what truly impressed him was not merely this revelation, but the fact that Noah had managed to overpower all the guards on his own and successfully detain each of them for questioning. However, the king adds that it is unfortunate how little information the prisoners actually possessed. Beyond their mission to capture Noah, they knew nothing of the larger rebel organization behind the plot. The conversation then shifts to Noah's recent decision to cut off the supply of horse feed in Almeria. The king praises this choice, stating that it was both strategic and humane. He explains that while cutting human rations would have been a more direct way to cripple the rebels' forces, it would inevitably have endangered innocent lives. Desperate for food, the rebels' first targets would have been the homes of ordinary Almerian citizens. Noah finds himself once again impressed by the king's insight, especially given that the plan has not yet been fully carried out. Byron has only just been assigned to secure the horse feed supply, yet the information has already reached the throne. The speed at which such details travel strikes Noah as almost ominous, though he keeps his unease to himself and does not voice it before the king. Concluding that Noah has demonstrated exceptional intelligence, loyalty, and capability, the king decides he must be rewarded. As a mark of royal favor, Noah is granted permission to bear a sword engraved with his crest, the crest of the 13th prince. In an empire that prides itself on martial prowess, such an honor carries immense weight. Using a sword insignia without explicit permission is considered a capital offense, punishable by death. Noah expresses his gratitude for the honor bestowed upon him and respectfully takes his leave. With the audience concluded, he departs to meet Byron, intending to receive an update on the situation surrounding the horse feed in Almeria. Byron reports to Noah that he has gathered all the intelligence necessary to carry out their plan. He explains that the operation will be relatively easy, feasible, and highly effective, and he confirms that this approach is indeed the best course of action against the rebellion. However, Byron cautions the prince that the rebellion's leader is Carfin, a tenacious man who will not surrender easily. While the strategy may cripple the rebels, Byron stresses that their plans will never be fully undone unless Carfin himself is eliminated. This warning prompts Noah to consider an alternative strategy, but his thoughts are interrupted by the unexpected arrival of one of his maids, someone who has no reason to be involved in matters of warfare. She apologizes for the intrusion and urgently informs him that a critical situation requires his immediate attention. A soldier, gravely wounded, has arrived at the gate and is demanding an audience with the 13th prince. Judging the severity of the situation, Noah agrees to see him and heads to the gate alongside Byron and the maid. There, they find a soldier from Almeria who has come to report that rebellion has broken out in Noah's fief. Although this information is not new to Noah, he recognizes the danger the soldier must have faced to deliver the message. To ensure the man's sacrifice does not feel meaningless, Noah reacts as though he has learned something important. He orders the maid to tend to the soldier's wounds and grants him a reward of 1,000 reen. Turning to Byron, Noah remarks that while the information itself may lack value, the soldier's loyalty is unquestionable, and that alone makes him deserving of the reward. Later that evening, as the sun sets and Noah sits alone in his chambers reading, Zoe arrives with trembling steps and a pale expression. Noah immediately notices her distress and asks what is wrong. She extends her hands to reveal a small bottle filled with liquid and confesses that a suspicious man has ordered her to mix the poison into Noah's drink. The plan, she explains, is to incapacitate him so that he can be captured. She adds that refusal would mean her death. Noah calmly asks why she did not simply comply with the order. Zoe replies that she cannot bring herself to betray him, as he is the one who saved her mother and her village. Moved by her loyalty, Noah writes her a check as a reward for her devotion to the crown. Then, to her shock, he instructs her to proceed with the plan anyway. She is to give him the poison and hand him over to the rebels. Noah explains that this will allow him to infiltrate their ranks and extract critical information about their leader, even if it means risking his own life. Zoe follows the prince's orders, and Noah later regains consciousness inside a carriage. Anticipating such a situation, he has already reduced the size of his sword and concealed it, preventing the rebels from confiscating it. To his advantage, they have also overlooked his ring. Using his magical relics, Noah frees himself and reveals his presence. He quickly realizes his captors are nothing more than expendable lackeys, unlikely to possess any meaningful knowledge of the rebellion. Disappointed but decisive, he dispatches them one by one, wielding his sword with precision, skillfully evading and parrying their attacks. Within moments, every rebel lies defeated. Shortly afterward, Zoe arrives with a large contingent of guards, eager to assist in any way possible. By then, the fighting is already over, and the guards move in to secure and imprison the fallen rebels. During the cleanup, one guard discovers a sword that appears highly suspicious. Noah orders him to step back and examines it himself. He determines that the weapon is cursed and that it harbors deep hatred for the one who cursed it. That individual, Noah realizes, is none other than Carfin, the leader of the rebellion. Drawing upon the power of his Leviathan and the cursed sword, Noah pinpoints Carfin's location. From an unfathomable distance, he unleashes a powerful projectile of magic that strikes Carfin directly in the head, ending the rebellion at its source. Although Noah does not publicly announce Carfin's death, the following day the king congratulates him on eliminating the rebel leader. Noah is once again taken aback by how swiftly the king has learned the event. The means by which such information reaches the throne remains a mystery to him. In the aftermath of Carfin's fall, it takes little time for Noah's brother to track down and imprison the remaining rebels, bringing the uprising to a definitive end. Soon afterward, a royal court is convened, with the king himself presiding as judge to determine the fate of those who dare to rebel against the crown. The king declares that the prisoners are to be drawn and quartered, a sentence that entails mutilation followed by execution as punishment for high treason. The assembled court regards his verdict as entirely appropriate for criminals who challenge the authority of the high crown. Noah, however, steps forward as the sole voice of dissent. He advises the king that the law clearly stipulates a swift death as sufficient punishment for treason. He further argues that allowing a motion to override established law undermines the authority of the crown and invites future defiance. When the king considers Noah's reasoning, he is unable to find fault in it. Impressed by Noah's wisdom and courage in standing before him, the king reflects that while any of his sons might have challenged him, none would have done so for the sake of justice itself. Moved by this realization, the king bestows upon Noah the title of the Wise, declaring that from that day forward, he should be known throughout the kingdom as Noah the Wise. Noah expresses his gratitude, and once the formal proceedings conclude, he is summoned again to speak privately with the king. During their discussion, the king inquires about Noah's plan for judging the annual night selection examination. In response, Noah demonstrates that his ring can repel any attack directed at him. He explains that, in the first round, he intends to evaluate the knight's aptitude by measuring how close their attacks can come to him before being deflected. The king remarks that the method is both effective and dangerous. Noah acknowledges the risk and states that he is fully prepared to accept any consequences that may arise. As the day draws to a close, the king withdraws to a secluded chamber alongside his confidant, the prime minister. There, he reflects on an ancient legend that warns the true seal of Leviathan must never be broken. Yet, despite the warning, the king confides a suspicion that if Noah were the one to break it, the outcome might be extraordinarily beneficial for the kingdom.